I mean, I would definitely say the difference between the U.S. and European scenes is that in Europe, it's a part of the accepted culture. This music in general, I think, is just more accepted here. In the U.S., we're constantly struggling to be able to do this music. You know, it's just not part of the everyday culture. Where I come here, it's you have a lot of options for clubs, for events. You know, you go to a city like Berlin and you have 40 events every night. You have clubs that are subsidized by the government. You have money that's just given to art organizations and things revolving around music. Where in the States, we just don't have that. Part of the reason why actually I continue to live in the U.S. is because in the U.S. we struggled for this music, and everything I've done up until now has been a struggle. So it makes me appreciate what I have and what I'm doing and kind of where I came from. And I want to retain that because I think that kind of gives me the vibe that I have and gives me the energy that I have for it. I think if I lived here, in certain ways I would almost forget quickly where and why I came and how how I got here. So I would say that's probably the major difference, is just the culture acceptance. I mean, I think the biggest experience for me with techno and kind of what defines me is I got to experience this music in a time in the Midwest in the U.S. where it was still fresh, it was still new, it was new to the DJs playing it as much as it was to the crowd hearing it. And especially where I live, we got really known for amazing sound systems. I mean, really big sound systems. And my first experiences with music were feeling the music as much as I was hearing it. So I mean, literally you'd be standing in front of a wall of speakers that were taller than you and, you know, as big as the room could fit. And you started to experience music based on how it felt and not just how you heard it. So unconsciously, I don't even think about it, but the music I make, I'm imagining how it feels on a sound system as much as how you hear it. And there's some tracks that I've written even that people have come to me and said, I really didn't understand it, but when I heard it on a sound system, it completely made sense to me. And so I think that's kind of unique in my experience because, and where I'm from, you know, I've heard good sound systems while traveling and playing in clubs, but I can say that the sound systems that I heard in the 90s in Minneapolis, where I live, put every one of these sound systems to shame. I mean, it was just, it just created a whole different experience, and I think it molded me in what I do. So DVS1 stands for the DVS1. It was a name that was given to me in the 90s and it just kind of stuck. Unfortunately, I don't have an easy and cool name like Derek May or Carl Cox or anything like that, so I have to use an alternative name because my real name just doesn't really flow. So DVS1 was a nickname that was given to me by a friend who was a graffiti artist, and his name was Envious1, so he called me DVS1. And Devious just kind of stuck with my personality, and it allows me the opportunity to be a little dark, a little sinister, but still have some soul when I play. It's not really about who I am in my daily life. It allows me to be something else when I play. So it just kind of, I like having an alter ego. In the 90s it was an analog setup, but at some point I had to get rid of all my gear for personal reasons, and I ended up setting up and using Reason. And the reason why I like Reason is because Reason is basically a virtual digital world, analog world. The way it's set up with racks, the gear you choose, how you plug things in, you can do anything. Your options are wide open. So at the moment I am 90% in Reason. I do sample some external pieces of equipment. Sometimes I'll get a synthesizer from somebody or a drum machine, and I'll just program it and record into to Reason and then use it from there. But I would say primarily my production is in the digital world. it. I think it's going to happen no matter what. But what I have realized, I just started my own label, Hush, and originally I started it as a vinyl-only label. And then about a month ago, I decided to release the tracks digitally, but not through Beatport, not through any other site, and do it myself through Bandcamp, which allows you to do it on your own. So you set it up and you can sell it directly yourself. And the record that I released without any reviews, without any marketing, without anything, sold out within a week. And then I repressed it again and it already sold out again. Sold almost 1,000 copies in the first month. And I looked online to see who was stealing it, and I wanted to see who was releasing it, who was giving it away. And what I realized is it's still sold enough. If it's a good record and if it's good music, it's still going to sell, and it's still going to be able to provide for the artist opportunities to go travel, to go do things, to go experience because of the music that they made. There's no way to stop it. I think you just have to continue to make good music. Be honest with what you do. You're not going to make millions on record sales. But I think you just have to keep releasing music, and the reason why I ended up releasing my stuff digitally on my own was because I downloaded some of the people's copies who they stole it, and they were really bad copies, and they were just terrible recordings. So I decided, let me put this out digitally and allow people to get at least good copies. If it's going to be out there, let them have good copies. And I was surprised. I mean, I sold surprisingly a lot of digital copies on my own. So the reality is people want good copies of it. The people who really matter are going to support the artist, and they're going to support the music. And to those that steal it, fuck them. It is what it is.